Have you ever, in the middle of the busiest moment of your day, suddenly stopped and realized that you've spent years giving your life away to everyone, and your own turn never came? Tony was 58, a senior engineer, hardworking and known among his colleagues as the crisis man. Since he was 20, he had worked without a pause, sleeping on construction sites, aging in meeting rooms, and walking the halls of his company far more than he ever walked inside his own home. That morning, when he entered the office, everything was the same as always. The ringing phones, the stacks of papers, and the anxious faces of young engineers who came to him for every little problem. But that morning, something felt different. In a brief moment, as he looked at his reflection on his desk glass, he saw his own face, a face more tired than he expected. The face of a man who seemed to have lost himself somewhere along the way. A younger coworker approached him with exaggerated excitement. "Tony, happy birthday." For a few seconds, the room filled with congratulations, but behind all the smiles, Tony felt something strange. A feeling close to emptiness. At noon, Tony went out for lunch. The street was crowded, people were rushing, life was moving forward. But Tony wasn't moving with it. He was just trying to keep up. His phone vibrated nonstop. Urgent reports, client calls, team mistakes, meeting requests, and among all these messages, one from his daughter. "Dad, please come home early today. I want to show you something important." Tony saw her message, but as always out of old habit, he answered the work messages first. He left his daughter's message for when he had time, and time never came. He escaped into a small cafe just to breathe for a few minutes. There, in the corner, he saw Shaka, friend from university, a man who once walked the same path as him, but was now sitting calmly, happily, lightly. His granddaughter was on his lap, a book beside him, and a genuine smile on his face. Tony sat beside him, and for a moment, he saw himself the person he could have been, but wasn't. Jack talked about his new life, working part-time, traveling with his wife, spending time with his grandchildren and friends, and dedicating one full day each week to a no-phone day. That last part was almost unbelievable for Tony. When he left the cafe, something heavy settled in his mind, something like the beginning of an awakening. That night at home, his wife Emma had prepared a warm, simple birthday gathering for him. For years, Tony had never truly appreciated Emma. Not intentionally, but buried under work. His attention was always somewhere else. During the celebration, his grandchild said, "Grandpa, make a wish." And Tony realized he didn't have a wish. Not for a new car, not a major project, not another promotion. His heart wanted only one thing: peace. After dinner, his daughter brought out the old family album. As they flipped through the pages, Tony saw how often he had been missing. In most parts he wasn't there, or he was on the phone, or in work clothes, or standing in the dark corner of the frame. In one family picture, only his hand could be seen as if the camera itself hadn't wanted to fully record his presence. He came to a photo of his daughter on the school stage. The light was on her face, but her eyes were searching the audience. For her father. A father who had promised to come, but had been trapped in a meeting. She had never complained, but the silence of that photo spoke louder than any words. That night, after everyone was asleep, Tony sat on the couch and flipped through the album again. Regret slow, but penetrating settled over his heart. A painful but clear truth. He had been there for everyone except himself, and sometimes, not even for the people he loved the most. The next morning, a major crisis erupted at work. A young engineer's mistake had put an important part of the project at risk. Everyone rushed to Tony. As always, he worked for hours without stopping to save the project, correcting plans, guiding the team, and once again becoming the company hero. But the cost, he missed another family dinner. He saw his daughter's message too late. Emma ate alone again, and something in Tony's heart grew dimmer. Later that day, while looking out the meeting room window, he saw a group of elderly people walking together calmly, without rushing, enjoying their time. For them, life wasn't a race, it was a path. His manager called him in and offered a new project, The biggest project in the company, with an incredible bonus and a dream retirement in 3 years. Something he had always wanted. But now, something inside him said, "This isn't my dream anymore." Instead of saying sure, he quietly replied, "I need to think." He left the office and walked to a nearby park. He sat on a bench and for the first time, breathed for himself, not for work. He watched a man drinking tea with his wife, a woman flying a kite with her granddaughter, a father holding his son's hand, and a quiet but firm truth settled in his mind. I've left too much behind. That night he talked to Emma. She said she had been waiting for such a conversation for years. She didn't complain or blame him. She only said, "You know, Tony, I always wanted you to be happy, but I think you've forgotten yourself for a long time." Then Tony spoke with his daughter. In a shaky voice, he asked, "Were you ever upset that I wasn't there?" She answered softly, "Sometimes. A lot. But I always told myself you were working for us. Ich wusste you'd live a little for yourself too." Those words broke Tony, but in a good way. A kind of breaking that leads to rebuilding. The next morning, calm but firm Tony declined the big project. He said he wanted the rest of his working years to be lighter. The manager was surprised, but then, with deep respect, said it was time. "Tony, for yourself." In the weeks that followed, Tony began creating a new life. A life not glamorous or loud, but real. In the mornings, he walked with Emma. He helped their elderly neighbor with groceries. He spent time teaching the younger engineers. He joined an art class, something he had always wanted to try. He reconnected with old friends, rekindling relationships and remembering old stories. He slowly understood that life wasn't only about building towers. Sometimes it is about building relationships that last longer. He realized his family had always been there. He was the one who hadn't been. One evening, his daughter brought a new album. Beside the old photos, there were many new photos in which Tony stood at the center. In the park, beside Emma, holding his grandchild, at a cafe, by the riverside, among friends. He was no longer a shadow of a father. He was himself present, smiling, alive. His daughter said, "Dad, you're finally in the pictures." Tony looked at the photo and said, "I understood late, but not too late to arrive. Aging is not falling. It is seeing. It is becoming aware. It is realizing that the time you have left must be spent on those who love you, not on emails and meetings." You want to even remember if today, at 50, 60, or 70, you decide to live a little slower and a little deeper. It is not failure. It is courage. It is wisdom. It is the beginning of the second chapter of your life, a chapter that may be more beautiful than the first. If this story stirred something in your heart, if you saw even a glimpse of your own life in Tony's journey, share this video with someone who might need this reminder today. And if you want more stories that calm your mind, deepen your life, and brighten your path, make sure to subscribe. New stories are coming, and one of them may become the beginning of your own new chapter. Subscribe, share, and remember, your story isn't over yet.